Okay, so I talk about housing sometimes and how that can affect someone negatively. Um, Sometimes in good ways, but anyway, so that's what this is going to be about in this video. Um, anyway, so I've already talked about sort of the backstory of my living situation and how it's been the same for several years now. Um, some of it is not bad, like it's a good area. You can see there's a kind of outdoor area that's quite decent. But it does come with a lot of limitations to my future, sacrifices, just having to live in ways that I'd rather not. And it's kind of an understood thing that I don't get to say. Like, just if you have differences, just kind of be quiet, um, because nothing is going to change. So, um, yeah, I used to be kind of dumb and think that maybe still kind of am, to be, I don't know. But in a way, I used to have kind of idiotic thinking in the sense of, thinking legitimately that someone just doesn't understand, and if only I get them to see things my way, then they'll have like a sense of human decency and change and all that. Like, I really thought it was a very logical, fixable kind of issue. And throughout the years, I just figured out with some human beings that's just not the case. If they've got the authority over you and they want you to behave or have a certain kind of life, then, they don't really care about your concerns. They don't care about changing, so it is what it is. With those kind of folks in those situations, there's just no use to talk and whine and explain and all that, cry, beg. No. Um, they've kind of made their choice at that stage and unlikely to change. So, yeah, I definitely did communicate my concerns and all that very clearly. And yeah, just the circumstances in the living environment got worse. So, for context, I lived with someone in their home, so still do. And, I just didn't like how certain things were run and how I was being affected. And uh, so the regulations on like what I could or could not do, even outside me that had nothing to do with the home, got worse. Um, this individual had definitely coerced me into doing stuff like medical things to my body. Um, there's just a lot of, the control, the entitlement over all of my life got worse. Just everything you can imagine with any metric got worse and worse over time, still to this day. Uh, you know, not entitled to gifts or extra stuff really, but I know. But the fact is that, sometimes you do get gifts from others and just extra stuff, and that's, on the face of it, it can feel nice, you know. And so that dwindled down severely to the extent that even last year from this individual, I got a literally multicolored, not my style, um, sort of bottoms, like sleepwear. Um, and that's it. and it wasn't even like nicely decorated or anything, just thrown in a bag and here you go kind of energy. So that's what I got for my birthday from this individual last year. Christmas gifts were usually better, but still very few, and just items that I didn't really care for too much. Any other time, I would hardly get anything extra, and I mean anything. Like, I covered the cost of my own stuff besides housing. Housing was free and utilities, but I covered my own cost, which most of us do. So I'm not saying I'm entitled to all these things, but I just noticed observations, and I noticed certain things had changed. Um, that's all I'm saying is, folks throughout time, for whatever reason, can treat you differently. So you have to kind of be aware of that. And I kind of really thought that this individual would be there for me and be committed to do more, quite frankly. Like earlier in life, now I kind of got used to it, and I see that it's just obvious that this individual is willing to do hardly anything, let alone anything extra, and that's just how it is. Um, Even non-material, like when it comes to care, like if I was sick, I remember many times, not a lot of times, but several times where I was sick. Thankfully, nothing very serious, and like flu-like symptoms and just not being very mobile for the day, um, just in bed kind of feeling. And I remember one time, literally as far as a meal, I never got a meal, not even once, not a home-cooked meal, not want something already bought, nothing of that kind. One time I got a cut cucumber. I don't even remember if it had dressing, and that's it. Not even like, most of the time, not even like a basic tea, not a how are you doing. In fact, a lot of those times I got ordered to do more housework. Like, this individual would notice I was sick and be like, don't forget, do this, do that, and just harass me sort of consistently until I did those things. So yeah, I don't know, I just assumed this individual would show more care. Again, not even financially, but over time they changed and they didn't show as much care in any sense of the word, financially or not financially, Um, it's just kind of crazy how somebody can sort of dissolve in your life and you honestly don't even see it really coming in real time. Like, you kind of realize all these things after the fact, after life is so totally changed. Anyway, we were trying to stay on the subject of, housing, because I was thinking about that today and had a little bit of a conversation with this individual that I live with in her home. And yeah, things kind of went, just the trajectory of the conversation kind of went, it was to be expected. No new information, no good information, just it is what it is. Uh, Deal with it or leave kind of thing. And it seems like, the big concern, which I was going to talk about, was that, how easy it can be to be medically coerced into doing things. And I don't want to go into too much detail about my situation for now, but like my insurance is all ruined, what do I mean by that? Like this individual has, oh, there's Tom Tom, neighbor's animal. So I've got state insurance, and how it works, at least um, kind of where I am, and I think in most of the country I'm in, is with that, it's like you cannot see more than one. It's really stupid and it doesn't make sense to me, but you cannot see more than one specialty kind of doctor at a time. So unfortunately, it's really not a good fit with the one I'm seeing. Um, for instance, like the main specialty doctor I'm thinking about, I did a blood test recently, so we'll see if more kind of doctors are needed, or I don't know. But so far in decent health. But anyway, basically I've been with this main specialty doctor for like 3 months as a client, and it's not working well. I guess it could be way, way worse, but I just don't feel comfortable because we're very different individuals, and it's kind of obvious. Like, he's very much trying to show a front of, I'm the authority figure, you be quiet. Like, anytime I try to express some concerns or have discussions or whatever, a lot of the times it's shut down and I'm told, let me do your job. I don't like it when I'm told how to do my job, like those sort of comments. So, and in a stern voice and everything. So you feel very, I don't even know what the word for it is, discouraged, or it's not even that word. I'm looking for a mix between like discouraged and scared, but not really truly scared. Hello. I don't know. Will you let me get close? Say hi. Say hi. Okay. Uh, anyway, and I just don't feel comfortable, as a female, talking to this kind of male who seems like conservative and stern. I don't feel comfortable talking about certain realities that some folks have to deal with when they are taking whatever they're taking. Um, so I just think that's kind of a big conflict and a big concern when it comes to the efficiency of what somebody is doing medically if they can't even really talk that honestly about what their experience is. So you would think that the insurance should let somebody, like, because if someone faces this kind of situation, you would think like the insurance would kind of recognize that and allow folks to see a second doctor and have it covered, at least for, so they can see if somebody else is a better fit. Um, so I would think that, like, at least let someone see a second doctor for a month, 2 months, something, you know. And I was also coerced into kind of signing forms and allowing this individual onto my medical, care. And so now she can log into like online accounts and look at, test results and all that kind of stuff. Like, it really is not that hard as long as you get the login information. So, if I wanted to do something confidential, there's absolutely no way it will be guaranteed. Literally can't do anything medical, anything that would result into documentation on my own.